Hi, Kate Paulin here, your agent with Heart and real estate sales coach. I don't pretend to know everything about residential real estate sales, but I've been at it since 1993. I've seen ups, I've seen downs, and really I just want to offer you information that I've learned over the years that might help you to grow both professionally, personally, and spiritually. So in case you missed it, we had our nice education piece on 420, not 420, but yeah, it was on 420. And Levi was talking about passive prospecting and how to get people to call you instead of you calling them. Like you could go out and actively be out there prospecting, but what if they're calling you instead? So super exciting. I'm glad you guys came. For those of you who missed it, here's the link and hope you get something out of it. Reach out to me if you have any questions, set up a coaching call, and I'd love to work with you.
I remember in August of 2021, I was sitting in the very back. There's this conference called Build, about 5,000 agents. And I sat at the very, very back of Build and, the least expensive ticket I could get. But I posted this on Instagram and I said, nosebleeds this year, speaking on stage next year. And you know what? That's what happened. I got invited to speak on the stage at Build 2022, 1 year later, that exact time. So that's how things can change and turn over, if you go all in. So let's talk about, how this all works and what you can do. So here's the thing is that you got to ask yourself, why do agents fail? Okay. Here's the main reason. The average agent starts with less than $5,000. I know that was clearly true for me. So a lot of agents will come into the industry on their last dime. They don't have a lot. Or what money they do have is going to pay the bills for the next month or two, which is why they have zero money for marketing. So they have to cold call and door knock and, talk to their friends and families because those things are free. It just takes their time. Now, even according to NAR on their website, National Association of Realtors, this is on their website. It says agents with 2 years or less experience on average make $8,800 a year. So I don't know about you, but I could not live off of $8,800 a year. But it's also a rejection-based business. If you have to get into cold calling and door knocking, guess what you have to do? You have to make 100 phone calls a day to maybe get 10 people on the phone, to maybe get one or two good conversations. And guess what? They may not even be in the market for another 2 or 3 years. So it's like, that's aggravating. It's tough. And so guess what? People will get out of the business because I don't care what anybody says. Nobody likes to get rejected. But it really comes down to not being effective at lead generation. So again, if you can't handle rejection or you can't convert in your conversation, you can't articulate your value proposition, why somebody should choose you versus their Uncle Bob, who just got his real estate license as well, it's going to be very hard to generate some leads. So I started to research again, as I was digging into this, I was like, where are the eyeballs? Where are people looking? Well, I looked on Google and I started looking at random suburbs of Dallas because I was curious, what's the search volume? Google, like Plano, Texas, got 90,500 searches per month. That's pretty good. But again, I didn't have money to advertise on Google. So how am I going to reach those people? Well, then I saw on YouTube, Plano, Texas gets 834,000 searches per month. That is 10 times the amount of search volume on YouTube than it is on Google. So that spoke to me. That told me something like, okay, maybe people are wanting to see these neighborhoods versus just find them on Google, something like that. And this is one of the books that really helped me research. So if you're a reader, or you can get the Audible, YouTube Secrets, this is pretty cool because this was what really helped me understand the fundamentals and principles of the platform. All right, YouTube Secrets. So that's pretty cool. And I have a relationship with Sean and Benji. Actually, they just updated this. You see that little yellow bar, updated second edition. They included our story in this book, which is absolutely amazing because I read the first book and that's what got me started. When they heard that story, the reason they put us in the book is because when we hit that $1 million in commissions, in our first year, we had, I think, 7,000 subscribers. Now, most of the time in these books, YouTubers or marketers are like, they're recognized for the amount of followers, right? Or the amount of subscribers. And it's usually only the people with 100,000 or 1 million plus subscribers that get all the recognition. But here they wanted to prove in the book, they're like, look, here's a team and a company that had 7,000 subscribers, but did $1 million because we've got a high ticket item like real estate where we can pull people off of YouTube and actually work with them in person. If I sat behind this camera all day and tried to make money from affiliate marketing and actually what YouTube pays, I'd be broke for a long time. I would be broke for a long time. So this is a book that I think will really help you understand fundamentals and principles of YouTube. Now, I would say this is the next best book you could ever buy that would also teach you about YouTube. And this one is really geared for the small business. And of course, all of the examples we use are really geared towards real estate agents. We just came out with this on March 7th. So super proud and excited about this. It's already Amazon #1 bestseller in 3 categories. And that was a really fun project to work on over the last year. So let's talk about passive prospecting principles. I want to share a couple of these with you, which is what I said earlier is like, why is YouTube so good? Why I think it's the best platform and the best way to market in general right now. you have these basic principles. So let's look at interruption versus intention. This is very key. Interruption marketing is what you've been exposed to and probably what you've conducted as a business owner your entire life. What is that? Well, that is cold calling, door knocking, postcards, billboards, TV commercials. All of that is a form of interruption marketing. You know why? Because it's the reason none of us like to get a call in the middle of dinner, because it's interrupting us, right? What do you do during a TV show or when you're watching the game during commercials? You go up, you go to the restroom, you get something to drink, you get something to eat because you don't care about the commercials, because in your mind, you're thinking there's not a commercial. I'm not anticipating a commercial that is going to speak to me and that I'm in the market for right now, right? So a TV commercial is interruption marketing. However, here's the thing. You could see a dog food commercial 10 times a day. And sometimes, have you ever watched TV in the old days? Remember when you watched TV versus Netflix, right? And you saw sometimes the same commercial over and over again, throughout the show. And you're like, oh my God, I don't care about kibbles and bits and bits and bits, right? It's enough. But that's interrupting you. You're not in the market. You just bought a bag of kibbles yesterday. So you don't need dog food. So you don't care. However, in a week, when you run out of dog food, guess what? Nobody on here wants Fluffy to die. So you go, okay, now I have to go buy dog food. I have intention to buy dog food. So I do not need any marketing or advertising to convince me that I need dog food. I ran out, so I'm going to go buy it. Now you have intention to buy it. And what happens is you go to the store to go directly to the dog food aisle, or you go on Amazon and search it and you buy it and you're done. Now, think if you could be in that position for real estate. And here's the thing. Real estate agents are used to marketing to everybody. They say, market to everybody, get them all in your database, and maybe they'll buy a home from you in 3 to 5 years. But there's people out there that are intentional about buying real estate. There's people that have to move, want to move, need to upsize, downsize, right size, left size. And guess what? Those are the people in the market right now. So if you could be in a position, would you rather be in somebody that's intentional about buying or selling real estate, or would you rather interrupt somebody for years sometimes, and then they end up buying with Uncle Bob because he was over at their house drinking beer on a Sunday, right? So actually that just happened to us with the client we were working with for 2 years. Listing agent found him some way or another, offered him a price off the house, and they ended up contracting with the listing agent and cut us out of the deal. So, and that's the problem, is that, if there's not loyalty established there, or there's, they just may do what's in front of them at the moment. Sometimes they don't even think about you. So look at the back end analytics of our channel. This is very important. So look at 55% of our traffic comes from TV, computer, and tablet. Those are research devices. Okay, look at this. Almost 30% of our traffic comes from TV. So think about that. That's people sitting on their couch or maybe even laying in bed watching our videos. How powerful is that? And if you're watching a YouTube video in your bed or on your couch, guess what? You're extremely intentional, right? You're not just watching Dallas real estate videos for fun. Maybe, we try to keep them fun, but they're in research mode, right? They're intentional. Look at computer and tablet. Now, also they say, attention spans are dead these days, right? That's why you're supposed to be a dancing real estate agent on TikTok. And that's not the case. Look at this. TV, look at the average view duration, 9 minutes and 39 seconds. Okay. Computer, 5 minutes and 52 seconds. Tablet, 6 minutes and 23 seconds. You know what I love about tablets? Like my mom, has a tablet. That's because she can't figure out computers and all that other stuff, but she can do an iPad. And guess what she does? She sits on the couch on the iPad and researches stuff. And so that's why the view duration is but even better, YouTube's number one goal is time on platform. They want people to stay on the platform as long as possible. So when they suggest videos, they know the audience so well, they're only going to suggest videos that they truly believe somebody's going to watch. So guess what? When they suggest our videos to somebody, look at that view duration, 10 minutes and 48 seconds. And they say it takes over 6 minutes of video consumption to start to develop a relationship with somebody. So we're doing that in their very first sitting. The very first sitting, they're getting over that threshold. And that's why our average contact to under contract in 2022 is 51 days. We did 186 total, 154 of those were from YouTube, but we did 186 total transactions. And on average, 51 days from the first time anybody ever reached out to us. So they reached out to us. We got them under contract in less than 2 months. Why? Because they're intentional. They were in the process. They were ready to make a move. They were ready to go. Then you think about global versus local. The thing is that it's really great to farm your area, but have you ever wanted to expand outside of your neighborhood, your suburb, your city, your state, the US, maybe to other countries? Well, however, what kind of marketing plan do you have for other countries? Are you cold calling other countries? Probably not. Are you sending out postcards to other countries? Probably not. But look at this, the channel is passively prospecting for us. And look at 2 a.m, we got 69 views. When's the last time you prospected to 69 people at 2 a.m? When's the last time you prospected to 70 people at 2 a.m, or 3 a.m? When's the last time you prospected to 72 people at 4 a.m? But 2 a.m, our time could be 9 a.m. in the UK. It could be 5 p.m. in Japan. And just like that, we have helped people move from Japan, from Australia, from South Africa, from Canada, from Belgium. Like we get these emails. Hey, we're a family of 6 with 2 cats. We are originally from Florida, but have been living abroad in Belgium for the past 6 years. We are relocating to Texas and we'll be working in Dallas. So guess what? Would I ever cold call Belgium? Would I look up Americans in Belgium and try to market to them? Absolutely not. It'd be probably a huge waste of time and money. But because the channel is there prospecting for us, guess what happens? That Belgium person or that American who lives in Belgium, and it doesn't even have to be American, they're probably just English speaking. They're like, well, it's time to move to Dallas. We're getting transferred. What are we going to do? We're going to start researching. Guess what? That's an intentional person, right? Would we all agree that's an intentional person? Absolutely. Like this, we've been watching your channel for a year now. It's been great help. We will be migrating to Dallas this December. So we helped this person from the Philippines in December. You know, when he reached out to us in November, but look at that key phrase, watched our channel for a year. And within 30 days of his move, that's whenever he reached out to call us. Why? Because he was intentional at that time. He wasn't intentional a year before, but he started his research. So that's the cool thing. If we would have captured his information or reached out to him a year before, you know what he would have said? I'm not in the market. I'm not ready. It's not time for me. So these are the types of things you want to start thinking about how you're positioning your marketing. Now, most people tell me they don't get on YouTube because it takes too much time. Well, YouTube does not take time. It makes you time. So for example, this one video took 30 minutes for me to make in totality. Well, it's been watched 11,600 hours, actually way more than that. This screenshot is old, but that's like making a profit of 11,595 hours off of my 30-minute investment. Would you do that? Would you invest 30 minutes to get almost 11,500 back? And if you divide that by 24 hours in a day, that's equivalent to 1.32 years. So if I said, hey, give me 30 minutes, I'll give you a year and a half back. Would you do it? Probably so. Now, in one day, our channels watch 1,514 hours. You divide that by 24 hours in a day, that's equivalent to 63 days. In 1 month, our channels watched 11,800 hours. That's equivalent to 1.34 years. And last year in 2022, our channels watched 104,600 hours. That's equivalent to almost 12 years of prospecting. So think about that. Our channel prospected for us almost 12 years in a 1-year time frame. When you match hour for hour, you could not build an inside sales team, an agent team. Nobody could match that. Nobody could match that. You just can't do it. Even if you have 10 inside salespeople, they can only call one person at one time, and they can only do that for 8 hours a day. And guess what? As soon as they hang up the phone, the lead generation stops. Nothing is calling for them, right? And you can't call people at 2 a.m. So you're compounding time. This is my favorite concept. You're compounding time. Everybody loves the idea of compound interest, right? We all love compound interest. Well, what if you could compound your time? They say time is the most valuable asset. So why are we not asking ourselves, well, if I'm going to invest my time in that, what's going to be the return of my time? Because if you invest in real estate, stocks, crypto, I don't care what it is, what's your number one question? It's usually, what's the return of my investment? When am I going to get my money back? How much am I going to get back? Natural, right? That's what you should ask. But we're investing our time into all these other things, and we're not asking ourselves, what's going to be the return of my time? If I go do that, if I go call for 2 hours, what's the return? It's going to be tough to measure. So what this really comes down to is active prospecting is hard. Period, right? It's hard. It's why all sales training exists. This is why we go to conferences. This is why we get on Zooms. This is why people hire coaches. This is why you buy books, because we're trying to always learn and improve how to, build rapport, establish credibility, develop relationships, right? We have to do that because we're always interrupting people. We're meeting strangers. We're trying to turn them into clients, and we're trying to, you got to build rapport, right? So somebody likes you and maybe they'll want to do business with you. And that comes with a ton of rejection, period, right? Again, as we said, and for me, like I said, I love sales, but I hated prospecting because I spent 90% of my time doing it. When I worked at Valley Total Fitness with Michael Reese, we worked 12-hour shifts, 10 to 10. That was, Valley's was not a gym place. It was a sales company. They taught you how to sell memberships. We had to make phone calls at least 8 hours a day. The whole goal was to get 5 appointments the next day to get people in the gym to tour them around because they're most likely to buy a membership. So we had to call for 8 hours every day to try to get 5 appointments. And we did that every single day. Whenever I got out of the military, whenever I got back from Iraq, you know what I did? I sold cell phones at Costco. You ever been inside Costco and seen that little cell phone booth? I did that in 2006. That was me. That was right before. Was that right before iPhones? I think so. Yeah, I never sold an iPhone, but I was selling phones at the Costco. You know why I sold the most phones at Costco? Because I talked to every single person that walked by. Nobody went to Costco to buy cell phones, but I talked to every single, what the other reps did? They would sit back in the booth and wait for somebody to walk up to the booth. And that was very few and far between, but I sold the most phones because I got out of the booth and actually talked to people. I prospected to every person that came through that door. When I got into pharmaceuticals from there, which I got recruited because of my sales skills at Costco, somebody's like, man, you're really good at cell phones. You should sell something better. And I got recruited into that pharma company. And guess what I did? I went and saw the most doctors at the right times. I figured out a schedule, a route, and all those things. But I had to maneuver all that. And what did I do? I spent 90% of my time running around, town trying to get in, I only talked to a doctor for maybe 5 minutes. The rest of the time I was driving around, sitting in waiting rooms, talking to nurses, building rapport, establishing credibility. So the nurse would actually let me back to talk to the doctor. You know, it was a lot of running around to talk to the doctor for 5 minutes. So that's why I always hated prospecting. I was always the best prospector, but you know, inside I really hated it. So passive prospecting, it's easy, right? It's zero rejection. This is what I love about this. Nobody has ever called me, still to this day. Nobody's ever said, Levi, I hate your videos. I'm not going to do business with you. They just don't do that, right? If they don't want to do business with me, they don't call me. And guess what? I never know, because I'm not chasing anybody. Clients walk themselves through the entire sales process. So think about it. They go onto YouTube. They're like, hey, it's time to move. Let's start researching. They go onto YouTube. Then they start searching Dallas, Texas. If you search Dallas, Texas, our videos are going to pop up. You know, living in Dallas, Texas, our videos are going to pop up. You type in Dallas, Texas real estate, our videos are going to pop up. And so now they're like, oh, well, here's some videos. And they start clicking on videos. They start watching videos. The video builds the relationship for us. Okay. And you know this because I know there's people on this call right now that got sucked into watching the Real Housewives. Because why? Because the spouse started watching Real Housewives and the other spouse was like, that show is stupid. I can't stand it. Everyone's catty and it's just a bunch of drama. And then they walk by every week, you know, and the other spouse is watching it. And then they go, after like the third or fourth week, they like sit down and they're like, okay, I'm going to sit down for one episode. And you watch one episode and then you're like, okay. And then the next week you're like, oh, and then you sit down at the beginning of the episode, right? And then you're like, yeah, this is stupid, but I kind of like Steve. You know, Steve, he's kind of cool on the show. So I'm going to watch for Steve. I don't like any of the other, you know, catty drama filled stuff, but I like Steve. He's kind of cool. And then by the end of the season, they're like, hey, when's the next season? When does it come out? You know? So what happens is whenever you watch something over and over and over again, that video builds the relationship for you. And so when clients call us, they've already decided that they want to work with us, you know, period. There is no sales pitch. There is nothing we have to train really people on to do other than don't screw it up, right? So we see this every single day in the emails we get. Look, these are cold emails to us. We would never, ever get this much information if people didn't feel like they already know, like, and trust us. So this is the first time they email us. Look at the amount of information. They tell us everything because they feel like they already know us. And then you look at these key phrases. We would like to check with you if you would be able to help us find a home. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for your time. And I look forward to hearing from you. If you have some time to talk about this, feel free to give me a call. When's the last time your postcard campaign, you know, somebody emailed you their entire life story and said, hey, that was the best postcard I ever got in my mailbox. I just felt like I had to give you a call. Not likely. Now, look, nothing against postcards. I know they work, but usually they'll just call and say, hey, I've gotten your postcard 1,000 times. I figured I'd just call you. But that is some form of passive prospecting, but it costs a ton of money to get to that point, right? And so when people call us though, this is what would happen on those phone calls.
Hi, Levi. Is this the Living in Dallas, Texas YouTube channel?
That's me.
Are you guys the folks on the YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, that's that.
Okay. I know exactly who I'm talking to then.
But this is regarding the Living in Dallas, Texas channel, right?
What, are you Levi from the videos, from the YouTube videos?
Yeah, that's me.
It's good talking to you. I saw some of your videos and that's how I found you. So actually very helpful.
My wife and I have seen your guys' videos on YouTube and kind of caught our interest. I'm posting on YouTube, but very interesting where you clear share the information.
I don't know if we should ask for an autograph or something. People been following you on YouTube like you're a superstar.
That I'd reach out to you guys because I've been watching your YouTube videos.
So imagine that. I mean, imagine every time you picked up the phone, that's what you heard instead of outbound calling where you're trying to, you know, who is this Levi Lacszak? What? How do you say your last name? Who are you? Why are you calling me? I'm trying to eat dinner. You know, they call us, and it gets even better. We jump on Zoom calls. This is what would happen on Zoom calls.
And I found you through YouTube. It's kind of funny because it feels like I'm watching a YouTube video right now.
I knew you was going to be cool. You know what? After watching your clip, my head exploded. I was like, wow.
Thank you so much for taking time on your Sunday. I appreciate the text messages because those have been super helpful.
Hey, good seeing you again, Levi.
You enjoy the videos?
Oh yeah, I do. I really enjoyed your video.
We saw your YouTube channel and say, hey, look, he looks knowledgeable. He knows that.
Funny to talk to the person behind the YouTube video.
From one creator to another, I really like your channel.
I saw your videos on YouTube. They're impressive.
So imagine that. I mean, wouldn't it be nice to just jump on Zoom calls and people are excited? First of all, they're like, oh, it's you, right? I've been watching all your videos. And it's great. So now we started to really kind of see if we can duplicate this and help agents in other markets. Kyler, for example, in Houston, he was completely skeptical. Heard about this from a friend of a friend, reached out to us and was like, okay, let me try this. And he posted this the other day and he was like, look, in his first 10 months, he closed 22 homes, 12.5 million in volume and 84 million in the pipeline. And what that means is that people called him and told them their budget. So he's got 84 million in his database from people that reached out to him and said, hey, here's my budget, want to buy a home. But more importantly, 12.5 million inside of 10 months. Not bad. Now, maybe you're doing that in your business right now. So you got to ask, okay, would it be nice to have an extra 12.5 million, to add to my business this year in 10 months? Hopefully, I think so. Rochelle up in Toronto, this works in Canada. I mean, she's absolutely killing it. She's actually doing, her videos do way better than ours, probably because she's much better looking than us, but she's got really good content. She's very personable. She really, shows people everything. And she's got a couple of videos. One's over 200,000 views, another one over 100,000 views. So she's had some pretty big hits and it's doing a ton of business. She posted this the other day. She's like, in the last 7 days, I closed 1.6 million. Currently working with 1.3 million buy sell. Had to start a team just to keep up with leads. My new agent is brand new and she closed 4 deals in her first month just from the leads. So in 9 months, she generated over 200 leads from the channel. Yep.
Are you helping them? And we're all dying to know how exactly you do this. And I'm wondering, are you helping these folks do this in these other areas?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, I'll share it right at the very end. So I'm kind of working through the where some people get stuck on, like Chris, he's in Northwest Georgia. So also, Northwest Georgia, not the hustling and bustling real estate economy, right? Very rural, very spread out. And he was a nurse. And he got completely burnt out during 2020. So no real estate experience, no sales experience, but he saw what we were doing on YouTube. So he was like, well, let me see if I can do that. So yes, we're helping out these people, and he's posted his success as well. And then you got like Jonathan in California, everybody like in the West Coast, they're like, well, everybody's leaving my state, nobody's moving to my state. Well, Jonathan, I mean, in his first 11 months, he's closed 13 deals, over 160,000. And he started at the end of last year, whenever the market really shifted, and like everybody kind of disappeared. And that's when he started his channel, but this is what got him through the last 11 months was YouTube, and just started from scratch. He doesn't even have, I think he's right now about to break 1,000 subscribers. So again, it's not about the subscribers. It's about the phone ringing. That's the most important thing. If you can get the phone ring, you're going to turn this into it. And we've been helping other people do that as well. So yes, we do have a big, hairy, audacious goal. We do want to help 100 agents really do this as well. But let's get into the process. These are some takeaways that you can do. So I'm going to give you some tips right now. If you have a current channel, this is where you want to evaluate what you're doing. And then I'll close this off at the end and open it up for some questions if people can stick around there. So channel build out. This is very key because everything on here is specific. This is what I learned in my research was, I didn't name it Levi's home selling team, right? Because first of all, nobody knew who I was. I had zero brand, zero recognition. Nobody's searching me. So I looked for the top search term in Dallas, which was like living in Dallas, Texas. I thought, what's a search term related to real estate or, what people may be researching? Well, people start researching living in Dallas whenever they're starting to think about moving or buying a home. So that's what the name of the channel, and it says right here in the middle, subscribe to learn about living in Dallas. So instead of it saying Levi and Travis, Dallas, Texas real estate agents, here's our phone number, here's our email, call us. To me, that's like a premature sales pitch, right? We haven't earned the right to ask somebody to call us. They don't know us yet. But when somebody comes here for the first time and it says, hey, learn about Dallas, Texas, that automatically tells them, okay, this channel is for me. I'm going to be able to learn what I need to know. And we paint a picture for them on this left-hand side. We create that visual. You want to talk about creating rapport? There's a reason why I put a little yellow taxi coming from New York, a little green station wagon coming from the West Coast, the airplane with all the business people in Chicago, because we get a lot of phone calls from those areas. And, that's what people are used to. They're like, oh, that little green station wagon looks familiar to me. Oh, the little yellow taxi looks familiar. I mean, so that's like instant rapport when somebody comes to this channel and they're thinking about, I'm moving there. And then on this right-hand side, this is really key. A lot of agents, creators in general, will link all their social platforms. You can put 5 links here. They'll put Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. And you have to remember YouTube's #1 goal, time on platform. So why distract anybody away from the platform? Why send them to a short form platform where they're probably going to end up watching cat videos, right? So you don't want to do that. You want to keep them on your channel as long as possible. The only link we provide is to book a call with us. So if they're going to leave the channel, we just want them to book a call. We want them to stay on the channel as long as possible watching videos. Then you have content creation strategies. These 4 types of videos, there's many more you can do, but these 4 types really work in every market. That's neighborhood tours. You saw that on that video of me. I just go out and I walk around the neighborhoods and in certain areas out in the country, in the city, in the suburbs, and actually show people what it looks like to be in these areas, because they can't really get that full sense just going onto an iBuyer platform. So we actually take them out in the neighborhoods. Map videos blew me away. Look, anybody can look at a map online. You could pull up Google or iMaps or whatever right now. But if you're not from the area, people don't know everything. So I'll just screen share and show a map and actually walk people around the map. And they love those. They're some of our most popular videos. Pros and cons may sound cheesy, but they do well. People want to know the good and the bad of living in an area. Top 5 neighborhoods, top 5 suburbs, all of that. Search engine optimization. This is very critical. This is the backbone of YouTube, because YouTube is the 2nd largest search engine, owned by Google, the 1st largest search engine. So everything matters. Every blank, every word in the description, the tags, titles, all of that matters. And, like we use a software, it flip-flops the thumbnail every other day. So when we release a new video, we always have two thumbnails and it flip-flops. And so that way we know which one gets the most clicks, because it's all about the click. If you don't get the click in the first place, nobody's going to watch the video. And we're all visual creatures. So you process images. Think about anytime you log into YouTube, you start looking at thumbnails first. If a thumbnail grabs your attention, you read the title and then you're like, oh, I'll watch this video. But making little changes, we test this stuff out. So even like this is key. Like I put this little, it looks like red tape with curse words over my mouth. I actually thought that thumbnail would do better. But the original did better, and it did 20% better. So that 20%, remember, everything's a compound effect. It'll do better over time. And then this thumbnail, like everybody always, like Frisco's the most popular area in Dallas, but Fairview is next door. Better homes, newer homes, better school district, more space, all kinds of cool things, but nobody ever asked about it. And sure enough, so that's why I tested these titles. You know, this is Fairview versus the new Frisco. Look at the difference, like 387% more clicks. So that told me, hey, if I associate something with Frisco, that's definitely going to pique people's interest. That's a big deal. Even this one, I have no idea. I don't know if the only thing I really changed is the color of the picture of me. You know, I took this other picture and it's a little bit darker. So I don't know, maybe people don't like the strawberry blonde so much. So, you know, the funny thing is like, this one got 648% more clicks, and it was the variation. YouTube likes a click-through rate of anywhere from 2 to 10%. So if I would have just went with my gut, which was the original version, this one got less than 1%. YouTube would likely never promote that video, but because I had a variation and it won, it fell right in the middle of what YouTube likes. And therefore this video has gotten a ton of views because it got the clicks in the first place. And if a lot of people start clicking on the video, that tells YouTube to promote it, remember, and suggest it to more people. And then lead conversion. I mean, if you have to do anything twice in your business, you need a system, process, a campaign or a trigger or something like that to go in there. So it's just something to keep in mind. So let me close out with this. I mean, you gotta choose your hard. And to me, it's hard working out, but it's a lot harder being sick, right? So that's why I choose to maintain a healthy diet and exercise, because I've been sick. You saw the pictures of me 10 years ago. I'm not willing to go back to that state. Trust me. I never want to be that way ever again. And so I'm willing to, eat healthy every day and exercise. It's hard owning a business, but to me, it's a lot harder having a job. And it's hard making videos, but to me, it's a lot harder making calls. So you have to choose your hard, right? But here's the deal. In the first year, we did $1,007,000 off of 160 videos. That's like making $6,200 a video. And if I offered you $6,200 a video, would you go make a video? But it gets even better. You have the compound effect. In year two, I actually made less videos, 154 videos and made 2.3. So that's like making $15,000 a video. And if I offered you that, would you make a video? And that's what it's like. Every time I go out, I don't think, oh, I really don't want to make a video today. I think, oh, I'm about to make $15,000 for this video. That's like selling a $500,000 home every time I go out and make a video. So that's worth it. I don't need the motivation to go make videos because I know what the return is going to be. Now in the beginning, again, paid me zero, but you've got to build up to that and then it can be worth it. And it really comes down to what you believe. I believe you're not where you want to be, just haven't learned something yet, but I also believe you can hyper learn any subject in 60 days. If we help you out, of course, I can teach you everything pretty much in a day, but it took me 60 days. And I believe even if you wanted to be the best postcard marketer on the planet right now, that if you studied postcard marketing, you could be better than 99% of the agents out there. If you actually sat down for 60 days and read books, watch YouTube videos, because guess what? There's YouTube videos on postcard marketing. There's books. Go on Amazon, type in postcard marketing. I promise you, it'll probably pop up 50 to 100 books on postcard marketing. You can type in postcard marketing for real estate. There's probably 20 books on Amazon for postcard. And if you read every single one of those books, watch every single video, you could, in 60 days, I believe you could be one of the best in the industry at it. So, maybe YouTube's not for you. And you want to do postcard marketing, well, study it. So in conclusion, it took me 22 years to be an overnight success. Like I said, a lot of people look at the overnight success. One thing I really want to point out here is that every single low, I came back stronger. Getting deployed to Iraq, a huge mental setback, but I came back stronger, had a very good career, but then I became disabled, physical setback, right? And mental actually. But I was able to come back. My financial service business was doing great, booming, but then, COVID hit. But now I've come back even stronger than ever. And so after every low or major setback in my life, I've been able to come back stronger, mainly because I just haven't given up. I've just kept on going and kept on working and looking for solutions. I want to share with you this. I don't know if you can see up in the top right-hand corner. It says, I think 4-1. I can't see the Zoom thing is, it says 4-1 of 21. When I got that first deal closed from the channel, I write out my goals every morning. I write out a page. I have this 8x5 notebook, and I write a goal for every line in that book. And I just want you to see this one goal that I wrote on April 1st, whenever I closed the first deal for my channel. I wrote, I earn 1.2 million in GCI from living in Dallas. I wrote that, and I wrote that every day. I didn't hit 1.2, but 1,007,000 is not too bad, right? So if you want it, you have to work for everything every single day. And I believe you need to write out your goals. This just creates momentum in your world, and it will happen. So here's the QR code. If you want to if I can help you out in any other way, I would just say book a call. And